The Cincinnati Bengals just dropped a nuclear bomb of news on us, and honestly, I don't know whether to scream in relief or absolute panic because the roster we know and love is shifting right under our feet. We have a massive returning favorite, a potential coaching exodus that could cripple the offense, and a heartbreaking exit on the defensive line that nobody is ready to accept. If you thought this offseason was going to be quiet, you need to wake up because things just got very real in the jungle. Before we dive into the chaos, do me a huge favor and smash that like button, share this video, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a single update as we navigate this off-season roller coaster together. Let's start with the good news because we need some positivity before we get into the stressful stuff. Tanner Hudson is coming back to Cincinnati. The news broke earlier today that the Bengals are keeping him in the building. Whether you want to call it a re-signing or an extension, the terminology doesn't matter as much as the fact that he is locked in for another year. I have to tell you, this makes me incredibly happy because Hudson is one of those guys who just gets it. He is one of my absolute favorites on this roster simply because he does the dirty work that doesn't always show up on the highlight reel, but it wins football games. We don't have the full contract details yet, but if history is any indicator, we are likely looking at a deal similar to last year, where he isn't breaking the bank, but he is providing immense value. Think about what he has done since 2023. He steps up when you need a safety blanket, he blocks, he catches, and he is reliable. My official stance on this is simple. The Bengals are entering a massive prove-it year. This is make or break for the coaching staff, potentially for the front office, and they cannot afford to bleed talent. You don't get better by letting dependable, trustworthy veterans walk out the door. Keeping Hudson feels like a smart, safe move that stabilizes the tight end room. I actually think the staff has managed the tight end position pretty responsibly lately. I love the addition of Noah Fant last season as that big receiving threat, and while he is currently a free agent, if we roll into next season with a combination of Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample, and Tanner Hudson taking on a bigger role, I am still smiling. It is a solid foundation. But I know what you are thinking. You are screaming at your screen right now saying, forget the tight ends, what about the defense? We are going to get to the defensive side of the ball in a minute, and trust me, you are going to want to hear the latest on Trey Hendrickson, but first I have to ask you a quick question. What is your one-word reaction to the Tanner Hudson news? Is it relief? Is it excitement? Is it indifference? I want to see your one-word reaction in the comments right now. Now we have to shift gears to something that has me genuinely sweating. We need to talk about the coaching staff, because while Zac Taylor is staying put, and by the way, it is wild that only he and Andy Reid have held their jobs since 2022, which is a crazy stat, the people under him are being hunted. Dan Pitcher is the man of the hour, and not in a way that benefits Cincinnati. He is being aggressively pursued for other jobs around the NFL. We have talked about the Cleveland Browns showing interest, but now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are knocking on the door for their offensive coordinator position. Reports are confirming that the Bucs are bringing Pitcher in for an interview, and the Browns are looking at him for a head coaching gig. This is the scary part of having a successful offense. Other teams want to steal your brainpower. There is a very real chance that Dan Pitcher is gone within the next few days or weeks, depending on how these interviews shake out. And look, I have to give credit to Zac Taylor here. He could technically block these interviews or make it difficult, but he is doing the right thing by letting his guys grow. Pitcher doesn't call the plays here, and if he has a chance to go somewhere and run the show, you have to let him take that shot. It speaks volumes about Taylor's character, but it definitely hurts the Bengals. Pitcher is a sharp offensive mind, and losing him creates a void. Now it is worth noting that he isn't the only name on the list for these teams. The Bucs are looking at guys like Mike McDaniel or Todd Monken, so it is not a done deal yet, but the threat is real. This leads me to the most controversial topic of the day, and I need you guys to really focus on this one. With the shocking news that Shawn McDermott has been fired by the Buffalo Bills, the coaching carousel is spinning out of control. It is rare to see a coach with that much success get the axe, but when you lose the same way, every year change becomes inevitable. But McDermott's exit triggers a domino effect that could land right on Cincinnati's doorstep. We have to play the what-if game here. If the Bills are cleaning house, what happens to their offensive coordinator Joe Brady? You know the name. You know the history. The connection to LSU, the magic with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson, that historic national championship run. Joe Brady has been the dream candidate for Bengals fans for years. So here is the scenario we need to consider. Dan Pitcher leaves for Tampa or Cleveland. The Bengals suddenly have a vacancy. Joe Brady gets passed over for the head coaching job in Buffalo, or decides he wants a fresh start away from that mess? Does he come home to Burrow? Does he reunite with the guys who made him famous? It is a romantic idea, and the chemistry would be instant, but is it realistic? There are so many hurdles. Would Zach Taylor give up play-calling duties to lure Brady in? Would Brady accept a job where he isn't the head honcho? It is complicated, but the door is officially cracked open. This brings me to the question of the day, and I want every single one of you to answer this down below. I want you to give me a percentage. What is the percentage chance that the Bengals actually pull off the heist of the century and hire Joe Brady as their offensive coordinator next season? Is it 10%? Is it 50%? Put your number in the comments and let's argue about it, because if that happens, the entire landscape of the NFL changes instantly. Even if it doesn't happen now, keep this in the back of your mind. If Zach Taylor stumbles next year, having a guy like Brady waiting in the wings or being available on the market makes for a very interesting backup plan. This is why you follow the offseason so closely, because these little moves today set up the Super Bowl runs of tomorrow. Finally, we have to address the elephant in the room: the defense. I know you guys have been waiting for this, and the news is bittersweet. Reports are coming out from major sources, including ESPN, that the Bengals are likely preparing to move on from Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to be honest with you, this feels inevitable, but it doesn't make it hurt any less. Hendrickson has been a warrior for this franchise. He has played hurt, he has played through things that would sideline 90% of the league, and he has been productive. But the business of football is cruel. He is getting older, his contract situation is messy with the holdouts, and the injuries are piling up. It feels like the front office has decided that it is better to let him walk a year too early than a year too late. He is going to be a top free agent, and someone is going to pay him a lot of money, but it looks like his time in stripes is coming to an end. On the flip side of that coin, we have Joseph Ossai. The reports indicate the Bengals are prioritizing bringing him back, and I think this is the right call. Ossai had a massive year when you look at the metrics. He has quietly become a cornerstone of that defensive front. If you are losing a superstar like Hendrickson, you absolutely cannot afford to lose a rising talent like Ossai too. You have to keep some continuity. Imagine a world where both Hendrickson and Ossai leave. You would be left with Myles Murphy and a bunch of question marks, and that is a recipe for disaster. Re-signing Ossai gives us a safety net. It allows us to retool rather than rebuild. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most aggressive and transformative periods we have seen in years. The roster turnover is happening, the coaching staff is in flux, and the decisions made in the next few weeks will decide if we are contending for a ring or watching from the couch in January. We are going to be tracking every single signing, every trade rumor, and every coaching change right here. Make sure you are locked in with us because the news is coming fast and furious.